Catface Val versus FlyQuest Red as we get into our final of the best of 3 on Ascent. And FlyQuest taking that icebox, Catface on Haven, playing very strong. So do that, bring that momentum here into the third matchup. They will be defending more so towards B as FlyQuest bring their momentum 5-stack on that A side.
Oh, and then the question mark is, how far do you go after you clear out B main, after you clear out tiles? Do you get behind this squad? They're fortunate. The Killjoy here over towards A. And that's something with this composition as well, right? No KO, no stripping the Killjoy of her utility. She can play wherever she wants. And that's deadly. Wait, the capabilities are endless for a player like Animal at the moment. But the speed you mentioned off this composition, the full dive off the Yoru, it is in full swing right now. The net is perfect.
Bro, they don't expect the stimmy speed. The brimmy stimming. They were cruising right into the site. That was wild.
What a set play. Mosh to clear out Dice, Net to clear out Jen. You mentioned the Stimmy and the Yoru utility. That's going to be hard. You guys got to get out of the way next round if that happens again, or any round therein. There's no way to counter that. And now you just play retake down in the 3v5 where there's some chip damage on Lace, chip damage on Evan Bob. That could help you out here. And Spicy says I have the timing, but it doesn't matter. The number is just too far favoring Fly. And after 2 pistols around on Haven by MEOW, doesn't matter. Fly get on the board first.
Man, you saw Sin just sitting to the right side of the Jenny there. I was like, wait, what? Oh, they're in sight. They're in sight real fast. So that's, yeah, Sin was not even expecting that timing. So we see just one way on the first round, that is, how this composition can be used to throw your opponents for a loop. I mean, unless it's Fracture, when are you really playing against the Stimmy and really breaking the timings like this? It's one of the biggest things you can do to your opponent.
And I love this get off site. Since I might send a dart, but I'm getting out of dodge. They're playing around mid, they're playing tree-centric here. And for good reason. I mean, the Dizzy's nice. Lunafox lucky to be alive. They still don't know where Sin is, and this could prove fruitful, but the Singers are just too powerful. And it's just steamrolling day, confident as ever. I see, even with your sniper rifle, it's not enough. Caught between a player and an incendiary. Aftershock even. Yanni at least manages to get behind. You're out of bullets, so you find 2 to deny a flawless, but looks like this Steam engine has no intentions of slowing down or stopping at any station.
No, that is wild. The way that they're just pushing through the site with the aggression right now, yeah, they FlyQuest feel comfortable on that, knowing that it works. But it's for 2 rounds, right? They're not going to be able to do that every round, even though I love seeing it. That was
do it on
cool.
B.
Do it on B. Yeah, I mean, they could. They could absolutely do it on B. They all get through the mollies quick enough here with the stim pack still down. Just keep an eye on that Thea utility.
Oh, and
they are running it.
Ooh, the swarm grenades, they're mincing. Lace lucky to be alive, battling for the trade kill. Sin trying to finish off the fight that her teammates started. It's also not enough, but damage is done. Still a 4-on-4 here. And again, the EQ weapons aren't great here for Fly, so prospects high for Catface at the moment.
Just look at all those sensors. This is the reason I don't like Deadlock, but love it at the same time. At the same time, it's traumatized. Icy gets a kill all the way in. Really nice lurk all the way from around to B main through that tiles area. That's another one. Are we going to get the bonus round actually going in favor of MEOW? Ooh, Icy with one more versus Ev now in the 1v. Or no, Sin's still alive. The 2v1.
Timing the wrap good. Both stunned out. Icy lucky to be alive thanks to the cloud burst. Knows that time could not be in their favor in the long run. Wow.
Wait.
Ev, pros don't take Ev.
Oh my
and Icy,
God, it happens
maybe
again.
new to the scene, but you can't underestimate them. Little mini ninja defuse, MEOW, deny. I mean, it was close, right? We mentioned how it was like 2 ghosts, a few stingers. That should not have been a 1 person walking away sort of affair, but the fact that it's Icy gets the Blaze online, and we kind of saw, okay, how this composition works. 2 things, right? Novelty factor. After the pistol was that successful, I don't think MEOW looked at those VODs, the past matches, right? Number 2, I think, again, it's so attack focused, so heavy footed, that if you can just get out of the way, play retake there, the deadlock hold, very fragile. If you can get a player deposited in the right direction, right? Icy overwhelms. Lovely, and they're good to go. Yeah, their approach, fight forward. Ahead of the assault.
Oh, Icy. He's like, wait, are you here with me? Can I peek? Actually turned around and looked for the teammate as they're not ready. Bob and Thea now going to push forward. Evan with them as well as they just mow down MEOW on this push. Annual, quick shotgun, quick hit, Lace on that one. And FlyQuest are going to be able to grab another round in their favor here.
No, it's rare to see a Bucky humbled, and the number of shots that Slicey was able to get off without landing a kill there. It says, you know, to all the nerf Bucky haters that it's a fine weapon. But, oh no, I liked the confidence for Fly to fight back there after the initial kills went their way. And again, that's MEOW maybe knowing when to cut the losses, disengage a little bit, when the Blades didn't really find much of that impact they were hoping for. But they also knew they didn't have the best weaponry. Again, their bonus the bonus for Fly kind of dismantled them a little bit. But actually, they're still going for this aggression. And I think they're going to start learning soon that this composition just doesn't let you get away with it.
Rushing it, trying to get the clone to distract. A bit of info, a bit of util first. Double flash coming through. Is this? Oh my god, the rolling thunder follows as they just run in. Wait! Bob's just chilling, letting the team run in. You can see it from the stun point of view, and there can't be any retaliation.
And you can see they were kind of waiting, right? They were hoping that anyone could get in place. Beautiful flash. I don't think they realized that Luna Fox is in hell. And a lovely head on a swivel. The timing's not there. The final kill found. No spike plants. No round win. It's gonna be close. It's like we said, novelty factor wears off, and MEOW can start maybe getting some rounds together.
I think, yeah, you got what you wanted. Like, play it safe. Where's this retake? Like, there's definitely things to be used. You have 0 point to find out where you can displace people or figure out where they are or aren't playing, etc., etc. And that was really nicely used on the util side of Catface. So now we see what their potential is if they do allow that site to be taken, and we already see B being played outside of almost right off the bat. We'll see where Animal sets back up again, but just next to the turret before that first frag. Yeah,
didn't really get to put out much utility beyond the turret. Icy not cleared out the stim enough to overwhelm though. They good for the trade. Alarmbot confirms the follow through into Pizza, but it's just gonna trigger the rotations out of Garden into spawn for MEOW, and they still can support Animal from a distance.
Great paranoia actually coming from Slicey as they tried to run in. Oh, can't get Annihilation to go down. A lovely falls to Sin, just blasting through Market with a Judge, and now it's going to be blasting from Ev. Aftershock goes over to the right as they both try to fight to the left on the stair side, and it's not going to be enough. Yeah, the lineup got a little sketchy, but they do find Ev. They do find the defuse. And MEOW tie it up 3-3. Hearts for everyone. It's broken. No.
But it was a heart with an F in the center. I thought it was an F.
Oh, okay.
I don't know who they love. I gotta look into the lore of the heart F. But all in all, 3-3 tie things out the gate here. I do think they're starting to figure out maybe retake is the plan here, right? They realize, okay, you know, sometimes you can't overpower Mother Nature, in this case, just the composition's nature. And we can play really effectively against it. Once they use all that utility, right, to get into the site, they have very little to hold on to the space. And they're capitalizing quite well off of that. But the difference coming in this time around, Dimensional Drift, keep a player deposited alive on the site, right? And beautiful counter, Hunter Fury ensures there's no follow-up, ensures that your players are alone like Bob. Bob doesn't need the help.
Oh, wow. Bob is just cruising through people right now to the Dimensional Drift. Actually rips the realm away from Catface's hands for a moment. And now, with a gate already on Market, they can look towards spawn here. And another kill for Bob. The ace just on the other side. A quick bounce, a quick peek. Oh, classic jump. Oh, stop it. Stop it. Cut it out right now. That is disgusting from Bob.
The iBUYPOWER race for FlyQuest Reds Bob. She says, I'm tired of getting Nightsea diffed to map 1 and 2. I'm here to stay. And we talked about it, how the retakes were kind of streamlined. There wasn't much interference. And Bob says, I am that interference. Fear me. Right? Dimensional Drift deposits you backside. It clears out all boathouse. You can fight forward those players that try to tuck away safely in stairs, in CT. And you can see that she was hungry for it, right? The flashpoint, the classic out. That's just, you know, pure individuality shining through, not WinCon style approach, but gets the job done. And we talked about how these sort of plays can inspire the team, but you're running right into a Stinger Bucky combo. Gotta be careful.
MEOW did this on Haven too from the defensive side. They push up and they'd be right there to fight you at the front of the site. Wall already goes down, stopping door, but still allowing for the fight. And FlyQuest go back to speed. Pacing power, and they place themselves over at A here to get another spike plant down, knowing the buy is going to be low for Catface.
And here we go. Talked about retaking and how that's the bread and butter against this composition, but again, down a player. Now these regeneration of breach utilities online, so you have delay. You also are on an eco, so at this point, I want Lunafox, yeah, to search for a kill, right? You're one off. You need to die or you need to find the kill, because you need that null command. All in all, though, the rest of the players, you know, I mean, you don't want the Rolling Thunder to give away. You don't want the Thrash to be given away. You know, charge up the Armageddon, maybe, but you get both. Oh, you give the Thrash away. Orbital Strike online. Oh, if they just played down the time.
So where do they use them? How do they do it? See, maybe one of the first times they split here, or they're deciding. Seems like no. Do the you take Spike, we'll do this.
Honestly, this felt like a good timeout round. Right? You're down 3-5. You have the 3 ults to work with. You know, the other team has ults as well. If you lose this round, Fly's guaranteed 7 or more. Don't get me wrong. I think with this composition, it feels so heavy attack-sided for FlyQuest. But it's still like such a complex round we're about to have, right? Look, ult invested off rib to clear out A main. From the shadows as well, like there clearly is going to be a lot of give and pull.
Yeah, already starting to rotate over 4 towards A here on a buy round. They have the gate crash back from Bob. Yeah, already back at B, trying to get into the site. The gate crash was ready. They've been playing somewhat of the same strat towards A to get this rotation, just added the Thrash.
Hello? Diving past the incendiary, slicey, roasted and toasted, but Icy doesn't matter. Rolling Thunder, Orbital Strike, they're gonna survive it all until the bitter end. Lunafox, though, it was all ruse. Had bought enough time to get players onto the site to get these trades to set up Animal for another clutch attempt, and this time in place. Quiet Series doesn't matter if you come alive when your team needs it most. Most chaotic rounds, and it still goes the way of FlyQuest Red.
Oh my gosh. The ability to condition your opponent. Obviously, with slow maps, it's whatever. They can play in their sights. But I think it has that much more of an impact when you are conditioning to a fast strategy. Because your opponent can't really take that time to second guess if you're always going to brimstone, you're always going to go. And that's the one time FlyQuest don't. And they just waltz into B. Like, so neat to see them switch it up as they come into that round.
Yeah.
And now Catface is like, what do we expect?
And they used the null command and the from the shadows towards the A site.
Yeah,
that's what made it such a kicker. Because then Icy was alone. You couldn't from the shadows like Boathouse to help. There was nothing you could do. And Icy tried, individuality shining through, but Orbital Strike undoing. Now, speaking of undoing, it's an eco round. That's why I really need to see that timeout then, because you're going to concede likely a 7th here. Unless Icy the Blades. Nice little high-low setup here. A trap over towards A. But, again, your aggression B main failed. It's more of a default slow approach here from Fly. After what was such a fast round, that's just like... It feels like insult to injury.
Exactly. Catface must be like, really? Like, we have the judge for this? I'm waiting for you to run around the corner. Come on. Give us something here. And they're like, no, this is going to be one of those just dry peek everything walk-in rounds, and Wingman will do whatever work we need when the plan comes around.
B.
Like, you know? That they must feel so confident on the side of FlyQuest with the way that this has been working, honestly. They, like, an untouchable feeling at this point.
It's giving, like, the opposite. Like, this is the perfect counter to the double Senti comp. Like, your Deadlock Cypher, your Deadlock Vice, right?
Yeah.
That's what this is giving me right now. And I think, like, but it's the attack, right? Sub portion. I want to see this versus that comp, right? Where someone has such a defense versus such an attack side comp. I'm curious to see how next half's going to go, regardless of the results here. And, I mean, this round pretty much spelled out, especially with Bob the Outlaw fighting not 1, not 2, but 3 in the classic. Rings through yet again as a flawless round unfolds for that 7th. Again, MEOW. Timeout. It was a little bit late at times. I want to see it now. Maybe.
Yeah, a way to work the retake. You have the lockdown. You have the buy. Get just even a timeout to reset. Like, let the players breathe so they're not going round to round here. And you kind of stop the bleeding for a bit. But it looks like they're going to go right into this one. No timeout needed. They're trying something new, so maybe that's why. Maybe if this mid play doesn't work, then they'll resort to the talk. But, yeah. Got to see a change from them. They do have the lockdown for the retake, but they're still going to attempt something. And it's already noticed.
Wow.
That's actually crazy.
And the Yoru's robbing one of the win cons for Catface was these colorful plays in their strap book. Helped for Icebox, helped for Haven, and now it's getting pieced apart here. The reactivity from FlyQuest on full display. And again, you talked about how the win con was playing these retakes. FlyQuest has found a way to disrupt that too. Another down numbers 2v3. They give MEOW a 4th here and a half.
Gate crash into sight. Boom, with the flash there. Easy played, and now they have to search it. They don't know about the Brim, though. They don't know about Thea.
Aww.
It's always Thea. Just at the last moment when you least expect her. A 3K from the Brim. And this composition is just throwing you for a loop. Throwing Catface for a loop here. They go for a save on this one. It looks like everybody's going to make it out alive. And they are very wealthy. They can keep trying some of these things. They can play it fast. They can play it slow. The Ascent is their oyster.
And it's clear that Catface is yet to find the pearl.
Last round.
It is in the depths. I mean, last round of the half, so you're fortunate you can scrape together a buy here. But, yeah, that was a tipping point. That big ult round where both had 3-4 apiece. And ever since then, it's been a little downhill. It's been that 5-round streak for FlyQuest. And now, I mean, lockdown's still online. The fact that we're going to end this the way we started with this death ball into A, and this time it's just Animal here, is a scary prospect. She's the one with the lockdown!
No, out of sight. Get out of sight. Oh, no.
They're going immediately. They heard nothing out of B. They know. Oh,
Animal's like, I hear all the utility. I hear death. Please help me. This is not going to be good. Oh, my God. The util going off. She's trying to stall here. One shot's good. A second one just to the top side of Ev's shoulder, and it's not going to be enough as Bob and Ev come flying through to secure that A site.
And she was witness to the full spectacle, the creation that is that execution, right? And,
Yeah.
I mean, almost finds 2. That maybe would have given more hope here. But all in all, it's a 3v3. Still no little strike online. Yep. I mean, they are playing off. Use it practically instead. They're fortunate all the players got by it. Not much impact, actually. The trades deliver. And it's down to the 1v2. They used it too early. They're sticking it. It's not really planted.
Swing out in a smoke. Oh, that's one. Oh my God, the defuse comes through. Sin is able to grab it before the kill happens. And that is going to be the 8-4 as the defuse comes through. What an ending round there.
Holy. I mean, it's almost poetic, right? We talk about the 5-round streak over on Haven. FlyQuest found a similar feat this half, again, out of a huge momentum round like the 8th from Bob.
Yeah.
And they're fortunate it's not the 9-3 that, you know, they displayed on Icebox that they have to now conquer. But even then, talked about it, it's this old style composition versus this very fresh, very unfamiliar face. And hey, you can lean into this comp, right? It's a deadlock. There's not much like sight hold potential here. Like maybe you can look at the double mollies right between the Nosh and the incendiary, maybe the stun from the fault line, but it's all very like one and done, right?
For sure. I mean, they have like Brim on one sensor over the right side as this tiles hit comes flying through. No pun intended. Yeah, Lunafox just trying to come back on a few kills here, but they get instantly pinched in from every single direction that there is over at B.
Wow.
Oh, gosh.
And they have not let their foot off the gas for a second. The trap play good. We mentioned it, right? This is no sight hold potential, but there's no need. Just trap play, initiate, and you're good to go.
Yeah, that's what you said, right? You're like, so you don't really have that
you can't hold the
traditional
same
sentinel you're going to hold with, so why don't you just make everything offensive? Now, you're still playing attack, try to fake plant in their spawn. Go
They're
ahead.
gonna do it again? Like, I'm like confused here. Like, also the breach supporting the deadlock here is insane, right? Send a fault line, you're good to go. And an aftershock to follow it up. Here it comes, right?
Oh my God.
It doesn't matter.
It's so good. It's so good. Incredible, and they have to know they already have teammates coming around them. Look how fast they're pressing W just to move. They're like, behind us, behind us. One stays. Beautiful shot from Sin. Oh. Yeah. It's eventual.
It wasn't over yet, but okay, Dicey, Stinger 4s.
Double ding.
Whoa, if you just kept shooting. They disengaged for a slight second after the dink. And Lace again walks away with a monumental clutch for FlyQuest. They did it in the first half. They did it here on a defining pistol round. Wow, and that's double digits.
Yeah, Lace really stepping up
second
here. Nicely done from them. Yeah, still double digits, though. They're putting the pressure on. And she actually took a while to warm up on Icebox. The ISO fights weren't working, so really great to see coming back around. Lace getting that groove back and able to fire on these rounds that the clutches are necessary.
Yeah, the support roles. Mateo on Haven. Now the Gecko here.
Yeah.
Why she is the flex player for this squad. And look at this, right?
Very true.
They've conditioned a few rounds to B fights tiles main. And they switch things up. The heavy stack 4A. And you can see it. Look, MEOW, they're starting to learn. We talked about it. How fast could this team adjust to a new composition, a new challenge that they have to tackle? And the answer is play super far back. Wait for that initiation and punish it. Lace, the victim of a first blood. The gun's been upgraded, but that space, you have to relinquish it or find a separate way to challenge it. And Lovely seems to have a mind of her own in this situation, but punish, dip, get out.
Good starting damage already on the weapons that are in the hands of FlyQuest. But you're right. MEOW has hardly passed what would be the line of scrimmage here to make their way into the fight, to even make it into a danger zone. And they're taking the fights from afar if necessary. Dropping Bob. Like, no shotguns are going to trick us today. As they all go to B, this should be a pretty good team hit. If they don't get censored fault line here and something crazy happens. FlyQuest has been able to cook up some stuff, though.
Ooh.
Nice molly stall.
Yeah, we talked about that's the only form of stall this team has, the mollies. Right, maybe the sensors. And once those are gone, they're gone. Or you can just go over them. That's one way as well. The updraft good for Icy. And what in the trigger discipline? Fortunately, the trade comes through, and main player, I should say, Lovely, also low HP from that initial engagement outside of A main. So all in all, finally should be a breath of fresh air here around off these rifles. Should, keyword.
Oh, keep these guns. I mean, it's really nice that they can keep the game off 11, but they also want to get through pretty wealthy on this, so they should either drop some or low buy for these next few ones. It shouldn't be too bad of a situation, but FlyQuest still has money that MEOW has to work through here to get themselves into a lower buy round. And then just seven to come back, that's all. Easier said than done. But it's possible. With what we've seen on the previous maps and what just the switch of the half can do, it is absolutely possible, Dobie.
Yeah, it's not even the switch of the half, it's just finally learning the tendencies of this composition, right? Like, it's such a great display having two players like deep outside of tiles, the three outside of A main, just waiting for the initial peak, that initial util combo. And once they punish, they get the advantage. That's when they rotate and go towards the site. But they said, Fly, you know what, we're happy to take the fight to you guys. Look how far they're fighting forward into tiles. But again, it's the immediacy of the response, right? Outwardly a sacrifice to the greater good to give it in the post plant. And, soften the battlefield. Every player pinged out success. That's crazy.
Good amount of damage. They start flooding back in a little bit. It looks like Bob wants to get a second try in here. Maybe gate crash back to see what the first hit might be.
That's a nice angle.
Oof. One shot. A little bit of a trade there. As now that 3 hit starts to come in. Lovely is going to be the last one to be able to do something, but Slicey's there to cut a Lovely down. And another round comes through, a very big one to finally cut that cash, I believe. Maybe another low buy, but it should be a save now for FlyQuest. Yeah. Yeah,
I mean, like their internet speed's off the charts, the way they're downloading these plays and creating actionable strategies off of it. Like, they've seen that trap play, right? B tiles now, like twice they fell to it. So what do? They accelerate an A as soon as that contact's made, as soon as the call comes from a Lovely. Now Lovely, like, okay guys, I'm not gonna play HUD, I'm gonna play a little bit deeper in case they do it again. And while it looks like a different approach, it's still this challenge. Off the dimensional drift this time. Huge information. Recognition that this is going to be up. The acceleration again. I mean, if you didn't approach, don't fix it.
Wow. That is fast. I mean, if you actually look at the speed, it looks so similar to the way that FlyQuest is doing it, just without the stimmy, right? That traditional jet break of getting inside Ascent A is just so chaotic. It's worked since the beginning of time, and they still use it now. So here towards the top side, it looks like all three are going to try to come from heaven here. If not, just go down to the spike and the last-ditch effort. Nice kill, though.
Yeah, be careful. That's a weapon you can pick up and carry into a round victory. But another player that's been heating up, LunaFox, now one off the no command. Like, they're trying to hunt for that kill, and they will find it in life and in death. And I mean, not clean, but the 3 kills. There's the 3 players still surviving. 7 rounds, still keeping FlyQuest off at 11th. Really nicely done. And you talked about the speed, like, that the AXEC has. Like, credit where credit's due. It's working. Yes, probably even why we have a pause here, perhaps. We'll see if it's tech or a FlyQuest timeout. Yeah, there it is. And I think part of it's, like we said, like, okay, the first time, There was 4 players B side, so you're 1 player on the A side. That round, it's eco.
Yeah,
2 players on site without utility. It's your Brim and your Gecko with sheriffs. So they haven't really come up with a full like counter. And I think that's what this timeout's going to be about. Okay, how do we challenge that A site control? Because that's where things are going wrong. Look, the ping's already, you know, starting to pop up across the minimap. The question is, like, is it going to be a challenge forward style approach? Because it feels like MEOW has found out ways to counter that already. They just wait it out. They punish it from deep A lobby. But I want to see something like a trap play set up on the site, like out of tree, out of hell, etc.
I'm gonna see what space they can take. I feel like the TP also. Oh yeah, it is MEOW. So Slicey could TP to still gain A control. I think the mid. I've been really liking the mid strat where Thea is huffing the stim pack off of Cat down into mid, like off the ball Brim plays with Stimmy like that. I do enjoy. They've been able to go pretty hard on a few of those, and it does look like they will get themselves to A. This composition we saw kind of sitting with the... Do they bring the breach? Because it was the breach and the deadlock kind of holding the front of B site for a little bit here. So it looks like they're going to separate those finally. I don't know. They're still running around. They're deciding it themselves here. This timeout is being dished out in the last moment. So they stick together, but it is more spread out across the map.
And here we go. I like this. Hey, if there was an entire strategy cooked up off of utility for FlyQuest Red to counter any sort of aggression, it's not going to happen now. Null Command strips that possibility away. The response, though, is gorgeous. They don't need their utility, just positional trades. And just like that, that's an insane mid-execute for the first time, and it is getting shut out. Animal, the 1v3, they know her clutch potential, so let's just throw in an annihilation to, you know, stomp out any potential sparks.
A 4K for a lovely on the deadlock. And seeing it shine here in a lot of the situations to stall a little bit in the situations with the sensors and the net really coming up big, but also the annihilation. One of those ones where you just kind of take your hands off the keyboard and say, oh well. Really nicely done. Ultimates for Icy. Slicey can play a little tricky here if they do need to create some chaos in a situation, but they got to be careful of that lace retake on Thrash. It could come up big, and 4 are at A here. This is going to be a battle. This
was the switch up out of the timeout. I'm calling it right now. How they weren't going to fight forward. They were going to instead withstand and adjust to react off the aggression, shut down that icy dive, talk about Rip, and then fight forward off of the net. They're fortunate they had a judge in hand to punish, but the damage has been done. The Thrash is in. You force them back into lobby, and now, I mean, the players provided the mosh. You can't escape.
This is crazy. They've called the last 2 perfectly here. Mid and towards A. Spikes down, and now it's just a lurk from Animal, whose job was to kind of call the strats. What was going on, but what was going on in the rest of the map. Oh my gosh. Eating the Thrash. Don't mess with Lace's crew. And that is a 12th round from FlyQuest here as they look to push themselves over the finish line with one more round. MEOW will reach deep into the pocket for a bye here with that Blade Storm online for Icy.
Yeah, nicely done. It just feels like that 4K 2 rounds ago from a lovely. It's so reminiscent of how every map has ended with heroics, snowballing into the map's closed, no chance of a comeback. So both of these teams just showing how impactful the mental is, the individual plays, but I mentioned it, they figured out, they cracked the code on the A site, so a little bit difficult to hinge on that. Almost like a crutch to support a heal, but when you re-break the bone like that, where Icy is taken out yet again in a trade, it's so difficult to get the healing to come through, to get those rounds needed to get to overtime. This was what I was hoping for, though. From the Shadows for Slicey, couldn't salvage the round last time, but might just this time. That spike down, you needed to survive! You needed to win that fight!
Playing through the paranoia, too, able to dodge enough time to not make that affect them. And now Thea here with a few more to be faced in front.
Oh, the mosh,
waiting for the team. Just a few more. FlyQuest looking for 2 more kills to make this one count. Make it that 13th round and push themselves to the main event. Animal gets the spike down, gets the lockdown, but Animal falls.
No. And, I mean, you know exactly where Luna Fox is coming from. The barrier mesh back online as well. I mean, grab net as well. Like, it's so difficult now to retake this site. You saw the desperation of the lockdown. You saw them just trying to vie out time as the remaining FlyQuest members surrounded them, and A Guardian hand, not the weapon you want in 20 seconds.
20 seconds left. One player identified and the other one knife identified as well. Waiting for the swing key. One shot. Almost the second one lined up on the head, but it's not enough. Lace is too fast. Lace gets the final frag, and it is FlyQuest taking the win here on Ascent in the third and final map of this series.